Hi, my name is Pasha and welcome to Pasha Reads. So recently, if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I've been to the US. We went on a shopping trip, me and my family, and of course I had to go to Barnes and Noble. We usually don't have much time to do a ton of stuff, but that is the one thing that I require for us, the one place that I want us to go all the time. And I actually got to go twice, which is great for me because it means that I picked up a ton of books. So I thought today that I would share that with you. So welcome to my book haul. So in total, I got like 20 books, but one of them was for my brother. But then technically that means that I got 21 because I got a compilation of the New York mini crossword so that I could do those because they took it away. You need a subscription. I'm not paying for games. So yeah, now I have that book and it's really fun to use actually. But anyway, let's get into the books. If you don't know, which you wouldn't know, but now that I'm older, when I was young, I used to just buy whatever books I wanted. But now that I'm older and I'm curating my library, I am only buying books that I love. That could mean 3 stars. I do have, like, on my spreadsheet, I have a long list of, like, books that I want and the urgency that I want them. So some 3 stars I do want on my shelf because they were good. But at the same time, some of them I don't really need. I've read all of these books except one. I will leave that one for last. So yeah, let's get into it. So first, I got The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love and the Geographer's Map to Romance. This is a series. I really love this series, and the next book is actually coming out next week. It would have been so nice if it was already out and then I could buy all 3 at the same time and read the last one, like, physically. That'd be great. But I really love this series. It is a very fun historical kind of story that involves magic, but the magic is not that complicated, which I appreciate. And we always follow like colleagues or in the same field, whatever. And it's kind of a bit, at least the first one is a competition to like get these magical birds or whatever. And the second one investigates how the magic is affecting the land and it's disrupting these people's lives, and they kind of have to figure it out before something bad happens. So I'm really looking forward to the third one because the third one is the antiquarian's object of desire. And I did cultural anthropology for my master's and bachelor's. And I feel like I'm gonna love that one way more than these 2. Also in the fantasy realm, I got the 2 books that I don't have from the Legends and Lattes series. So we have Bone Shops and Bone Dust, and then Brigands and Bread Knives. I still haven't figured out how to say Brigands. Is it Brigands or is it Brigands? Who knows? Anyway, by Travis Baldry. I love the series, and I was worried about Brigands and Bread Knives when it came out because I just wanted to keep following Viv and the bookshop. I mean, not the bookshop, the coffee shop from Legends and Lattes. So when this came out, I was a bit skeptical, but I actually really, really loved it. And as practice for filming, I actually vlogged myself reading this over Christmas. And it was a lot of fun. Love this book. I don't love the like shininess of the covers, and also that they don't match. This is paperback, this is hardback, but it is what it is. I'm gonna get what I could take. The next 2 books that I bought together, that go together, is Natural Beauty and Immaculate Conception by Ling Ling Huang. I love Ling Ling Huang. She could write a book about how her foot hurt
and I'll read it. I adore Ling Ling Huang's writing, and I think her concepts are just so cool. Natural Beauty I had read on a whim. It was like available online on Libby, and I was like, oh, I've heard people talk about this, but I don't really know what it's about, so I'll listen to it. And I absolutely fell in love with it. So when Immaculate Conception came out last year, me and my friend Buddy read it, and I'm not a sci-fi person, and I would put this in sci-fi just a bit, just because of the technology aspect of the future, but this was one of my favorite books of last year. This is such a good book. The concept of it is so incredibly out of the box, but at the same time, it feels like we're going down this path. And she tends to write about like female friendships and the depth and possible horror that can come out of it. But at the same time, the horrors of different industries and how we think about ourselves as people, how we move about space as people, and all the crazy things that we can think of, that we can do, that technology, how technology and the evolution of technology can continuously influence us in negative ways without us knowing that it's negative for quite a while. So anyway, I absolutely love Ling Ling Huang, and I'm so happy that I have her books on my shelf. So just to continue with the fantasy-esque elements, I have The Keeper of Magical Things by Julie Leong. This is the second book. It's not in a series, but this is Julie Leong's second book, I think. And The Teller of Small Fortunes was really, really great. I took a chance in reading that for myself. At that point, I wasn't into fantasy. I thought that I could, but I was very skeptical still. I still felt like certain magic systems, I don't need to know the magic system. It's just a bit much for me. So in reading The Teller of Magical Things, I absolutely fell in love with it. I love the story. I am someone who needs to love the characters, and I appreciate when there's found family. So, The Keeper of Magical Things, with the two women in the story starting out as enemies, kind of, I was like, how are we going to get to the place that I need to get to, you know? But I absolutely loved it, and now it's on my shelf. The next book that I got, I recently read, and I absolutely loved, and it's Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter. This, first of all, I absolutely adored this version, this cover. I feel like it really encapsulates the cats. But I absolutely love this. I love Heather Fawcett. I always loved Why Would the Sun Do That? I've always loved Emily Wilde. That was one of the first like fantasy series that I started reading, and it absolutely blew me away. I love the amount of romance that was in it compared to like the problems that we are solving. And this actually, again, I was hesitant about, because I was like, oh, I don't really care about cats very much. I'm a dog person. I have 2 dogs. I have 2 huskies. Yes, I have huskies in the Bahamas. Yes, they have their own AC unit, so they are fine. But this actually, I really enjoyed this. I had a wonderful time reading this. Heather Fawcett's descriptions of people and like magic going on is just so lively and believable, and I love that it feels grounded in our world, and yet it's not. Like, this takes place like in the olden days. There are no cars, but they have carriages. Yeah. So it's like back in the day, but it still feels modern and it still feels relatable. So I really love this, and I'm so happy that I got it. And Listen to that. Gorgeous. Extremely happy to have picked this up. I absolutely love this. I'm going to say this about all of them because I only buy books that I love. But anyway. Also out of my comfort zone is every now and again I will read like a mystery or something. And that started with Uketsu's Strange Pictures. This was so odd. When I first read it, I was like, what are we doing? What is going on? Right? And then when I finished it, it was like, that's incredible. Luckily, the next book had just come out. Boom. Strange Houses. So I immediately read this. And I love this one. I didn't think anything could top this. It was just so interesting. And the fact that it's fictional is insane because I feel like every time I read them, I feel like this is real things and they're documenting it because of the way that Uketsu writes it. To have the narrator solve it with people in his lives, it's all interviews, and then they bring the documents together and talk about it and whatever. It feels real. And then I go to log it, and I always go to put nonfiction, and it's fiction. Absolutely incredible work. Which then means, boom, I had to pick up Strange Buildings. I want to take this sticker off so bad, and I will get to that. Both of these. I hate stickers. Anyway, out of the three, this one is my favorite. Not just because it's the longest, but I actually, in that one too, I started to kind of put things together. This one, I really was like, I was on detective mode. And I got it pretty well. But the realization about this house, that blew me away. That was crazy. That was insane. I absolutely love this. This might be one of my favorite books of this year. It's definitely on my top favorites list. But yeah, I really hope Uketsu come out with more as soon as possible, please. I would appreciate it. Now we get to my Korean translated works. I got The Forest of Stolen Girls by June-Her. I love June-Her. She's one of my favorite authors. If you don't know anything about June-Her, she writes historical Korean fiction, and it's centered around events or things in history that actually took place, which obviously historical fiction will do that. But in The Forest of Stolen Girls, in a time where like these girls actually did go missing, and June-Her kind of creates or paints a picture around it, creates a story around it. And every time I read her books, I learn new things about Korean history, which I really love. This one was not my favorite. I love all of them. I give all of them like 4 or 5 stars. But I felt like this one didn't have as much historical background going on compared to like The Silence of Bones. I also got, and this is the cutest little book ever, Almond. I read this quite a while ago, and I thought it was such an interesting book. And it was so funny to me that it's this big. Look at this. It's so tiny. Yeah, Almond is about a boy who does not experience or understand emotion. A tragedy happened in his early life, and it's just kind of him going through life, having to understand other people's emotions whilst faking that he has his own. It's very short. Is it very short? This version is like 329 pages. But it was a short read. I think I read it in a day. And I loved it. So I'm happy that I got this. The last Korean translated fiction that I got was actually my favorite book of last year, my all-time favorite book of last year. And it was So Angry Book Kitchen by Kim Ji-hee.
I said before, I think on my Instagram, this is the kind of book that I want to write. This is the kind of experience that I want to give people in general. Like, one day I would like to own my own bookstore that has a cafe. And I think this is a good way to do that. So it's about, we follow tons of characters as they come to the book kitchen. And basically it's like an overnight stay. So you stay for however long you want. It's like a little hotel. And they have a bookshop, but also they have like just tables for you to journal. And it's kind of a getaway from the rough parts of life. So we follow tons of people who are going through like not great situations, and they come here to figure out what to do next, to take time off, stuff like that. And it just was a lovely book. I don't love this cover. I think it's fine. But this is what they had, and I saw it and I picked it up. And for our last little pile of books, we have Dinner at the Night Library by Hiya. I read this. I think I read it around Halloween, actually. And I just thought it was so interesting, the concept of having a nighttime library. And this, we follow our main character who gets employed at the night library and all the things that they have to do in the library, organize books, deal with not so great customers. And the concept of the library is that authors can come in and bring all their books, and they will have the whole collection or that author's home collection after they die in the library. And I just really enjoyed it. I felt like it was longer than this, but maybe it wasn't that long. It says the night library is no ordinary library. Within it are found the rarest and most unusual collections, the books of deceased famous writers, the books they wrote, and the books that inspired them, the books they loved. So, yeah, I got that one. I love the cover. I love the little peeking into the library. Also got Hot Chocolate on Thursday by Michiko Oyama. I just read this. I love her other series, but this one felt really close to me compared to the other one, so I decided to pick this one up. Although I should have picked up everything that I could. And we again follow like a series of people as they come to this one cafe. So the first story is Hot Chocolate on Thursday, and it goes from there. We follow one person. The next story kind of tags to that person in some way, kind of thing. And they all lead back to the cafe. I think I gave this like 4 stars. Almost to the end. We have Kokoro by Natsume Soseki. This is the Japanese classic that I read on a whim, I think last year or the year before, and I absolutely loved it. I listened to it on audiobook, and it's just so good. It's one of those books that makes you think about your humanity and how you interpret the world, and I appreciate hearing other people's stories. So our narrator hears this life story of someone close to him, and it's not a particularly like scary story. It's not particularly inspiring or moving, but it just is. And I find that I absolutely love those books the most, where nothing really happens. We just learn a lot about a certain person that the author has allowed us to come to be attached to in a certain way. So I'm really happy that Barnes had this. I actually was looking for it in a certain place, and then it wasn't there, and I had to ask someone, I know you have this in stock. Please find it. And then it was kind of like on the other shelf, which is funny. Yeah. Last but not least, one of my favorite authors. Most of these people are like favorite authors, but him, he has many books.
he is allowed to be number one, not number one, but he's allowed to be one of my favorites. And that is Junji Ito, I Got Moan. This is a manga collection, and I've actually been looking for this online somewhere, anywhere, and I can't find it. So I'm actually really glad that they had this in the store. Yeah, I do not go. This is the only book in this pile that I have not read. I do not go into his books knowing anything. That's how I prefer it to be. When I first started like reading again in adulthood, I was in college, and I signed up for the library. I hadn't had a library in a really long time, or ever, actually, ever. And they had the like full collections of Uzumaki, Tomi, and Gyo. I hated Gyo. I mean, I love Gyo, but that one is the one that was really nasty for me. And since then, I have been collecting his books. Unfortunately, when I left New Zealand for college and came home, well, after college and I came home, I actually had to give up some of his books. Like Frankenstein I had, and now it's gone. Because it was too heavy. So I'm back into buying his books again. I'm really happy that I got to buy Moan. I'm excited for this. I am going away this week, so I think I'm gonna vlog myself reading this on the beach. That'll be really nice because it won't take me that long. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you read any of these. If you love any of these, I would love to know in the comments below. Have a lovely day. Have a great time. Thank you for being here till the end. Goodbye.